You know, Tommy, I love K-trucks. And my question is, why the heck are they trying to make these things illegal in many states? They're so useful, they're so fun, they are so cool.
Yeah, and what's the big deal? So today we're taking a look at a brand new K-truck. And if you're thinking, how the heck did they get a brand new K-truck? It's because we're not at home in Colorado.
No, we are here at the Fuji racetrack, thanks to Toyota, and they're letting us experience and review the forbidden fruit that we don't get.
Yeah, we're going to find out what's the big deal with K-trucks, why are Americans so obsessed with them, and should they be as hot button of a topic as they are in society?
Well, let's show them what makes them so much fun. So to begin with, this Tommy is not only all-wheel drive, it even has a rear locker.
Now, let's start even further back, Dad, and explain what a K-truck is. Now, K-truck, I believe, stands for K-Jadosha, which is a classification of small, lightweight vehicles sold in Japan. And the appeal of a K-truck is they're much cheaper to own, to register, to pay for than a full-sized vehicle. Now, there are a number of requirements a K vehicle has to follow. It has to be within about 3,600 millimeters long and about 1,800 millimeters wide. It can't have more than about 660 cc's, and it can't have more than about 63 horsepower. And they, of course, make vans and trucks, but they also even have K sports cars, which we'll show you in a later video.
Now, what's really cool about this, Tommy, is just how useful and utilitarian it is. I mean, look at this bed. Have you seen a lower pickup truck bed in America than this?
What's crazy is, like, size-wise, this vehicle is smaller than a Mini Cooper, and yet the bed length and usability is huge. Why don't you take the camera? I'm going to try to lay down. Now, for reference, vehicle about the size of a Mini Cooper. I'm 6 feet tall, and look, this is over a 6-foot bed, which is unbelievable, unheard of. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you know what? We just bought a Ford Maverick, which has a 4.5-foot bed, which I thought was too tiny, but look at this. I mean, not only do the sides fold down, but these things have incredible payload.
Yeah, they are pretty good for what they are. Right around the bed capacity, 700-800 pounds. I think it's like 350 kilograms, somewhere in that territory. So pretty good for the size of the vehicle. And they use these things for everything in Japan. They use them for delivery vehicles, for transporters, for, they have little milk trucks I've seen out here.
They run them around the rice paddies. This is just such a cool little thing. Now, Tommy, what other truck do you know that is mid-engine?
Yeah.
Because that's where the engine lives.
Maybe the Corvair truck from the 60s. Now, these have little 3-cylinder engines. They make about 50 horsepower in this Pixis. The top speed, about 60 or 70 miles an hour. But as my dad mentioned, a lot of these are turbocharged. A lot of these are manual or CVT or automatic. And a lot of them have 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, I'll show the inside. There is one downside, and that is, unfortunately, this is almost like a frontal control, right? So you sit in front of the front wheels, and your feet, in this case, become the crumple zone.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, safety, I think, is a little suspect. Couple of things. It does have airbag, right? So it's not maybe quite as bad as a Volkswagen Type 2 bus, but it's not much better. And then not a ton of comfort, because the whole vehicle is essentially a bed. You're pretty limited in kind of leg and space in here.
Hey, why don't you close that window so it's not so loud, because right now that racetrack is really humming. So the one thing I don't like about K-trucks is this seat is way upright.
Sure.
I mean, I fit, but, you know, barely. Of course, keep in mind, most Japanese, there we go, are in 6'2".
Quite a bit smaller than you are, Dad. Here, we'll move it into the shade. These little trucks are actually super fun to drive. They've got incredible turning radiuses. They've got pretty good power for the size, so they will do more or less highway speeds as long as the highway is not doing 80. And they don't feel that unsafe. Like, they have modern steering and modern brakes, and they're pretty good. They also have features like AC, right? This one's got navigation in it. It's got phone connectivity.
Look, it does 140.
I think it's kilometers an hour.
I know.
A little optimistic there, Dad. But look, these vehicles well under $20,000 in the Japanese equivalent. They have manual windows, so they're pretty basic. This one has an automatic transmission, which is very simple to drive and operate.
But check this out. It's got a four-wheel drive and four-wheel drive lock, and then it's got a rear locker. Can you believe that?
And it even has, see this? It's got a two-wheel drive mode too.
Yeah, and that's great for like not tearing up the grass.
Yeah, what a machine. What a useful little tool. Now, why, Dad, are states so anti-K-Truck these days?
That's a good question, and that is a question that a lot of people have pondered, and there are various answers to that. Some people feel it's that the manufacturers don't want these little trucks competing with our full-size pickup trucks. Some people feel it's the insurance folk who don't want, basically the liability comes with having your feet as a crumple zone. What do you think, Tommy?
I think it's a little bit of both, and I don't think it's necessarily the full-size truck they're worried about. I kind of feel that it's more in line to do with the side-by-side manufacturers that are concerned about these, right?
Yeah.
Because they're so cheap in the U.S. to import. Now, obviously, we can't get the new ones like this, but we own a 97 Honda Acti, which feels pretty much identical, that we paid after import fees and everything. It was $6,000, and it's got under 40,000 miles. It runs perfect. It drives perfect. And if you compare that to like a mule, that's going to be 15, 18, 20, 25 grand.
Having said that, Tommy, I think this truck is perfect for the way we use it, which is, moving stuff around the ranch, moving garbage out. I am very claustrophobic in here.
Like, I wouldn't want to tow from LA to New York in a K-Truck.
I wouldn't want to tow from Bertha to Boulder, let alone from LA to Boulder.
But if all you wanted to do, Dad, was move yourself and maybe one other person to and from the office, this really is fine. And it works in the snow. It works on gravel and dirt roads. It's got AC. It's got a good heater. And there's one organization that's been really anti-K-Truck.
And who is that?
I forgot the name of it. It's in every write-up about it.
Okay.
But they lobby against them, saying it's down to safety, right? That's always their argument. These are extremely unsafe vehicles. They don't go, they were never intended for U.S. roads. They don't meet crash standards. They shouldn't be allowed on roads.
So wait, they're saying that this is more dangerous than our 1915 Model T.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But they claim it wasn't manufactured. It's not grandfathered in. But if they really care about safety, like you said, that any number of American car pre-1970 is going to be more unsafe than a K-Truck. It just simply is.
I mean, you've got modern brakes, you've got modern airbags, right?
Steering,
Yeah.
Yep. It's got pretty decent handling, ABS, traction control. So I don't buy that at all. And then if you're going to say that, well, then motorcycles are far more unsafe than this. This doesn't provide a bigger hazard than an F-350 diesel on the road to a pedestrian. I mean, this is a very simple, basic little vehicle that someone is paying a lot of money to keep out of the U.S.
Let's show them the outside again. Now here...
Yeah, let's go back in the sun.
Okay, put it up in the sun. Now here in Japan, I think most of the manufacturers make these, right? So we have the Honda Acti, but also Daihatsu makes one. Who else makes them? There's just a lot of different manufacturers.
Yeah, Subaru makes one called the Sandbar.
Yeah.
The Daihatsu Hijet, the Toyota owns a majority stake in Daihatsu, so this and the Hijet, I think, are pretty much mechanically identical. But these cars are everywhere. They represent the vast majority of new cars sold.
So before you turn it off, you want to do what everybody does with these?
What?
Front wheel stand?
I don't think they're going to let us do that.
I don't think the folks over there in the little house would be happy if we did that.
I would be pretty stoked.
Yeah, this is a really cool idea whose time has come for America to embrace the little K-Truck. I mean, we have compact trucks, but the utility of these is so much greater.
And I understand we're never going to see these as new vehicles. It would never pass modern U.S. safety standards. But as an imported used vehicle, you're telling me I can register my Fiat 500 from 1971, but this is more unsafe than that? That's crazy. That's insane.
Well, guys, thanks for watching. As always, where should they head to, Tommy?
Head over to alltfl.com for more review of these JDM-style vehicles. This has been Tommy.
And Roman saying, we'll see you next time.
Ciao.
Wow. Hey, you're stealing my...
I stole your line.
Don't take my line, dude.